Okay, so we have here a town that's reached 10 farms, and I've built a quarry now, and I'm ready to use it. Let's quickly go over what we're seeing in this town. So we have the farms here. We've got a path along here. We've got little 3 people huts here, 2 people huts. This is erased. I've relocated them into these larger houses, 4 people house and a 6 people house. We've got some wells also, of course, and a cesspool, and we've got our quarry here. Okay, so let's take our move and see how we can use our quarry. So at the beginning of our move, we count our farms. We've got 10 farms, and we've got our free build move from the farms. What do I want to do with that build move? Well, I'd like to start working on a fortress so that we can start saving wealth for the future. That'll be very useful. So we've got 10, and each piece of wall costs 5. Maybe you can see that here. Anyway, it's on here. A piece of wall costs 5. So let's start out by building 1 piece of wall. That'll be nice. I like to draw it like this. Okay. So we've got 1 piece, and wouldn't it be nice to be able to use the other ones to continue the wall? Well, we can if we use the quarry. So when your workers go in the quarry, they can carve the right kind of stones that make building much easier. But they also use a lot of calories doing that. So whenever you use your quarry, you have to advance your famine meter. That's the cost of using a quarry. So we finished our free farm move. Now we're on the mine section. So let's go ahead and use our quarry once. And we've still got 5 food. Let's use that extra 5 food and build another piece of the wall. Oh yeah, isn't that nice? Okay, I'm going to continue this out until I have a nice structure. I also built it in kind of the wrong place, but it'll be okay. We'll see what we can do. So I'm going to continue building this wall out using the quarries, of course, and just expanding the city. And after that, we'll look at how to use a fortress. Okay, things didn't go exactly as I planned, but I'm on a season where I just finished completing this structure. I've got, how many walls is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 walls making this nice enclosed area. But it currently doesn't really serve any function, does it? Because there's no way in and out, and it's not protected either. So I've just collected my 22 food, and I spent 5 finishing up the wall. So I've got, I've got 17 left. 17 that I can use my quarries for. I've only got, 1 famine square left. So I'll only use the quarries once. Which means I can't quite build a barracks yet. So, but let's just, let's see. If I spend 1, I'll have to add 16 people. That's a lot of people. Let's continue this turn by building another road. So, I've built roads here. These are the first paved roads. They're better than a path. So your residents can travel much faster on a road. That means they have much better access. So it increases the building area. So this normally doesn't have anything to build on, but it's supported by this road, giving a build area of 2 tiles. And it also expands the area of the access to the cesspool. So now, because of this road, these areas are all sanitized too. So that's nice, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to build another road, actually. Normally things cost 5, roads cost 5 too, but only when they're built over an existing path. If they're not built over an existing path, there's an extra 2 food or wealth you have to spend. So that raises the cost to 7. Okay, so I think I want to build my next road right here. Okay. That cost me, I like to keep a little ledger, that cost me 7 food, and I just used one of my quarries. Okay, so that means I've got 10 people to add in. Alright, so let's add in 10 people. Okay, I know I can add someone here. 1, 2. Alright. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This looks strange, but it's supported by the build area of this path, so I can build all the way out here. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I've done a little rearranging of my residence so that I could create more farms and so that I could retract my famine meter and so that I can build the barracks in one season and give a good demonstration. Okay, so right now I've got 22 farms. I built these technically after starting the new season, so I don't have to, actually I can't get the food yet, and I don't have to, and I can't. So I've got 22 food now to spend. So I'd like to build a barracks. First I'm going to build an entranceway into this enclosed area. I like to draw it like this. Look. And it's diagonal, which for me aesthetically isn't the best way to do it, but it's still perfectly valid. Paths do create buildable areas and path areas in a diagonal shape around them, in a total shape around them, so this is a valid place to build another path. So, but it's not yet a, well, it's not yet a defended gate. So this area now has no meaning really. It's, you know, people can come and go through here. So that's not, you know, not very great for you. Anyway, I've just spent one food and I've finished up the farm move. So after this I'll use my quarries. Okay, and first I'm going to use the quarries to build a barracks. And we'll check here, a barracks costs 15 wealth or food. And what does it require? It requires some special things. So one thing it requires is gathering up 5 poor saps and telling them that they're going to, you know, be soldiers for the rest of their, you know, foreseeable future. So let's build the building. I like to do it like this. Draw, 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 draw. Okay, I've drawn it, and I like to add a line here after I've collected the 5 that I need. So I need 5 soldiers. So where can I get them? I can't get them from a house. So once a house has been developed, they kind of can protect themselves. You can't just grab them off the street and force them to be soldiers, unfortunately. You'd have to break up the house first. So we're going to gather our soldiers from huts. So here's a 2 people hut. I'm going to take these 2 people. And here's a 3 people hut. I'm going to take these 3 people. 2 plus 3 gives me 5. That's how many people I need for my soldiers. And then I also have to feed them. So that means I'm going to reserve farms. So these farms will no longer be expendable for your build moves, and they no longer will increase the population either. So basically it just means 5 of these farms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, will always be going to feed your hungry troops. And last but not least, building the barracks, you know, creates a little bit of hubbub in the town, and the news spreads out, and you know, people are a little bit less likely, a little bit less bold when it comes to invading your town. So that means, in other words, you can retract the siege meter 1. So that's useful. So if you're very near an attack, the way to reduce this is to build another barracks. Okay, but you do have to staff it. If you don't have enough farms, if you don't have enough people, you can't build the barracks. If you try to just erase it after, use the food for something else. So you need to have those to build the barracks. Now that we've built it, we've got a defended area. And let's also make sure we subtract the 15. So 21 minus 15, well if it was 20 it would be 5, add the 1 back. So we've got 6 left. So we've got 6 people to add in. I can actually still use another quarry to build something if I'd like. Let me think for a second. Would I rather have 6 more people, or would I rather have another road? Let's add in the 6 people. Okay, let's put them back where the other people came from. Okay, great. So what have we created here? Is this a castle or is it a fortress? Well, the barracks is a commoner building. In any space that the barracks is in, it's commoner space. It's not good space for a nobleman. It's space for a commoner, just like the cesspool, or even a hut. They create an area that your snooty people will not want to live in. So this is not going to be our castle. And the castle is, after all, where the nobility lives. This is just going to be a fortress. This is where you're going to keep your wealth. And wealth is very useful. Unfortunately, we don't yet have anything making wealth for us. So we have 2 paths to wealth presenting themselves here. Actually, we have three paths. The first path is raiding, using our barracks and just going into other towns and saying, hey, I want this, I'm going to take this, and we have more swords than you, more men, so we're going to take this and bring it back. Second way is that if you can build a nice path leading from a quarry all the way to the edge of the map, well, you can start selling stone, trading that stone, and you'll get 5 wealth every collection turn. So that's nice too. And the last, and I have a nice space for it, is to build a market. And a market requires, if you look here, buildable, of course, and collectible. Collectible basically means it's a special word for a built-up neighborhood, an area with houses or greater. So you can't build a market in the middle of nowhere because it needs people, it needs their little cottage industry. It needs a reasonable house next to it where people can, run the market, where they can store goods, where they can store people who work there, basically. So this place is no good for a market, but right here is good for a market. So why don't I finish up this season and come back when I can build a market, and then we'll see how to use wealth. Okay, so we've started a new season. We've got 21 food that we can use, and a market costs 20. So let's build our little market, and I like to draw them like this. It kind of is like it looks like a little stand shape. I think it's cute. It's got a little M, M maybe for either that's the roof, or it's an M for market, or an M for McDonald's, or what have you. Anyway, there's our market. It costs us 20, so it also requires, just like a barracks, it requires food. One thing that your residents are going to start doing is they're going to start selling the food at the market. So they can sell it to the neighbors, or they can sell and trade to people who come and visit. So let's go ahead and reserve 5 food. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 farms, sorry, I should say 5 farms. Okay, we've got 5 farms reserved for our market. And this is going to start shrinking the growth of our population, which can be good and can be bad. But it's going to do something else that's very good. So let's see. So we've used 20, right? We've used 20 and we've got 1 left. Let's go ahead and add our 1 person in. Where can we do that nicely? These quarries are kind of... if you see here, this road has access to a well. It actually serves as a well. That means this area is hydrated. So let's make a little 3-person hut here. Okay. So you can see how these roads are very useful for expanding your town. So we've finished up our farm move and our didn't use the quarries. We've assigned our people. We don't have any wealth to spend. Now we have an option to raid if we like. And why don't we do that? So we can only do a very small raid right now, but for raiding, we send off our usual soldiers, but they don't all come back, generally speaking. So 1 person per quarry doesn't come back. So maybe they wandered off. Maybe that's the happy story, but that might not be the case. Either way, one person doesn't come back per raid. Oh, sorry. One person doesn't come back per barracks used. We only have one barracks to use. But we get the number of barracks used squared, returned in wealth. And, well, a number squared is usually, a lot bigger. What's 1 squared? Well, that's 1. But, so, when it's just 1, it's not that great. But still, it's our first wealth. That's very cool. Okay, so, but the other thing is, though, that when we raid, the other towns don't really like it. They kind of are upset that you came and you maybe killed some of them and took their stuff. That bothers them for some reason, so the chance of you getting raided in return increases each time you do it. So there's a chance that we'll fall under a siege ourselves. Shoot. Okay. Well, we finished up the raid move, so we can now move on to collect. For the first time, our quarries aren't connected yet, but next to this market, there's 6 people houses. Isn't that nice? And let's look at how much gold they make, how much wealth a house makes. So, we can't yet build a seven-person house because that has to be enclosed in a castle. But these 6 people houses, they produce one wealth. 5 would be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, for now we get 1 each. Another thing to note is that the market itself produces 1 wealth. So, how much wealth do we get? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's cool. Okay, I like to draw it like this. You can tally anyway, but I find this way is easy for me to keep track of. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That means we have 5 wealth stored. Alright, we've collected for this move. Okay, so we can't use it yet, but pretty soon we can. So let's continue to our next season. Alright, what happens in this one? It's a scary winter, so we have to advance the siege meter. Okay, and let's count up our food so we can use our first build turn. 1, 2, well, I know this is 9, this is 10. Okay, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 food. 16. Okay, what should we do? Well, we could build another barracks. That might be nice with our 16 food. Yeah. Why don't I build one right over here? And in the future that'll be nice because we can start to build our that's kind of ugly, sorry, but we can start to build our castle over here. Okay, so we'll have to gather up 5 people. Let's say these 5. Oh, yeah, 5. Yeah, the other thing about fortresses is that your soldiers are a little rowdy. If they notice a nice home next to them, oh yeah, I gotta move that one too. They're gonna go ahead and break in and take the stuff. If they see, that's bad, that'll make a ruin. So don't build a 3 or above next to them. Okay, we've got to reserve 5 food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we reserved the 5 farms. And this barracks is ready to go. We get to reduce the siege meter now, which is good. It was getting up there. And we've used 16, which leaves us with just 1 remaining, so let's put that 1 here. Okay. And, well, we've spent up our farm move. We've assigned the last one. We didn't use our quarries. Look at this. Look at this. This says spend. What does that mean? That means with unlimited build moves. Unlimited. We can spend these 5. So, this is when your city really, well, your town, really starts to take off in growth. So well, what I want to do first, I want to build a lot more path. So that'll give me a lot of building space for the future. So I'm just gonna use all 5 of those. 1, 2. Let's see. Do I want to go down or straight? I'll go down. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Sweet. Alright, I'm going to start a gold ledger too. So I had 6. I know I had a 5. I had 5 and I spent 5. 0. In many cases, the amount of gold that you get, I used to call it gold, I like to call it wealth now. The amount of wealth that you collect will be more than the amount that you spend. So in that case, you don't have to erase here and redraw every time. You'll just be adding to it. So I prefer to do it that way. That's much more pretty because there's not as many erase marks when you do it that way. In this case, though, because we rated, we probably will have less. But let's see. Actually, let's see if we can utilize this space a little more. Right? This space is sanitized and hydrated. That means we could build up another house here. Same as right here, too, actually. Why don't we do that? Let's move these 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Build us another farm here. And so again, this is acting like a cesspool and acting as a well. So this is perfectly good for 4. So let's grab these 2 and these 2. Put them here. We get another farm. And that means we can move back our famine meter because we've just built 2 farms. So that's cool. I think we might be getting more money. We could even build one here and here if we'd like. Why don't we try to do that? Yeah, because this stuff is good, man. This is the good stuff. This wealth. Okay. I'm gonna take 3 and 4. Okay. Build another farm. And I'm going to do that. Let's see. Take 1 here. And then these 3. I would have paid to have a slightly better eraser. Well, my camera just got totally filled up with video data, so I had to go and empty that. So, we were in the middle of rearranging some people so that we could build up around the marketplace and get more money. We didn't tally up our wealth yet, so we had already assigned and spent, I believe. Yeah, we had spent the money, and this time I think we're not going to raid because it doesn't produce that much wealth and we're pretty near to a siege, so let's skip raiding right now. And then let's go ahead and collect. So we started with a 5 in here, and we're gonna get how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So we spent the 5. We're down to 0. And let's do plus 8. Gives 8 total. That's obvious, but sometimes you don't spend all of your wealth, so sometimes it's not obvious. Okay, we've got 5, and then we're gonna do 6, 7, 8. Alright, we've got 8 wealth that we can spend next time. Okay, that's cool, man. Okay, so next, why don't I work for a bit on this pattern, and I'll show you an example of a castle. Okay, thank you. Okay, we can see here a completed castle, and I've already been building up the population inside of it. Let's compare what the difference is between a fortress and a castle. Basically, here's the barracks outside of the castle walls, and here's the barracks inside of the fortress walls. So you don't really want your barracks inside of the castle, and the reason is that if the barracks is on the inside, it's a commoner building. It's going to make this whole area commoner area. This area is now enclosed, and that means it supports these. How many people is that? That's 6 people, right? Yeah, that's the 6. No, it's 7. My mistake. The 7 people houses. These 7 people houses with a chimney have to be enclosed. You know, once you've got a nice house and you've got a chimney going, well, a chimney is kind of a sign of wealth. You don't want to be having your chimney out here. You're going to attract attention and get raided, basically. You want to have your nice houses in an enclosed area. But you can't quite reach the level 10 buildings yet. And that's because these huts are creating a commoner effect. They're making this whole area still a commoner area. So it's not a good castle for your nobles just yet. But once we move these out, or we combine them into a house, it'll be ready to accommodate level 10 mansion. And that level 10 mansion gives you how much gold? How much wealth? It allows you to collect 10 wealth, as you can see here. So that's definitely a good source of wealth for you.